about something. You're one-on-one with Stacey Thomas. Unrestricted and unlimited. We can talk about anything you want. Unrestricted and unlimited. Let's talk about something. You're one-on-one with Stacey Thomas. Unrestricted and unlimited. We can talk about anything you want. Yeah.
Hey, everyone. I am Stacey Thomas, Unrestricted Unlimited. Don't ever put me in a box, baby. I have yet to see all that God has for me. And well, for you new people that have never seen my show, Unrestricted Unlimited simply means we talk about various topics. We keep things real. And I always like it when I am blessed to meet other individuals that are living their dreams and they are simply not allowing anyone to put them in a box also. And people ask sometimes, I got to say this, because I've got to guess, hey, I didn't think I'd ever get to interview him. I just recently met him, maybe in the last couple months, but it's something like people will say, how do you get these guests, Stacey? I say it's God. It's God. Malik Pollard is an awesome individual. I just didn't talk to him once, but I've had several conversations with him. Very interesting man. And a lot of times I believe you don't accept, you get a blessing, right? You don't keep the blessing to yourself. Sometimes it's not meant for you. Sometimes it's meant for you. And sometimes it's meant for you to share with others. So tonight I'm acting as a bridge. And so he's a blessing to me, but I'm acting as a bridge. I'm going to connect you with someone that can help you. And you in turn follow and check him out. How about that? So before I bring Malik on, I want to give you a little sample of just what he does. He's the creator and CEO of Mad Flavor TV. If you have never heard of it, you should really check it out. I'm going to show you a few samples tonight, showing you exactly why you need to follow this brother on his journey, okay? Malik.
Hey.
Hey, superstar. How are you?
I'm good. Look, I happen to be playing that behind me.
Malik, I don't know who smiles the most, me or you, but I can tell you one thing. When I meet an individual that has a genuine smile, or a cute smile, a handsome smile, I'm like, what? You just can't help smiling. Good vibes, right?
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you for blessing my platform tonight.
Oh, and thank you for having me. And I hope you don't mind. I pour me a drink here. I'm doing a little rum tonight.
Well, I don't mind, and I'm going to be very honest with you, Malik, because it was such I had an awesome time when you brought me and my team, my movie team, up on your platform, and I'm like, Malik got something in common with me and Jazz, the whiskey. So Malik, I did. Malik, I thought about pouring me some whiskey, but I thought about the conversation we had on your platform, right? And I said, Stacey, you're going to want to talk about that, and this isn't about that, and then you're going to drink that whiskey, and you're going to hold Malik up. Tonight is only about Malik. So I got my cup, right?
Okay.
No
Oh,
need
I
of
love it.
no need of lying. I've got orange soda because I didn't have any Mountain Dew, but I did want a shot.
Well, that's all right. Look, I know you said it's about me, but on August 5th in Richmond, when we're celebrating you, we're gonna make sure we have that whiskey. I'm doing rum, so I don't have whiskey, but we're gonna make sure we're doing whiskey that night. How about that?
Well, I'm not gonna say, "Oh no, Malik." I say that's a big yes, a big yes. I love a good whiskey. Smoke and Mirrors, whiskey is the sponsor. Unfortunately, I had a hard time bringing up the video, but they're out of DC, Malik.
Yep, out of the DMV area. That's right.
David and Keisha Williams. I like to give a shout out to them because you know what? They agreed to sponsor me. Another way that you blessed me, right? So they agreed to sponsor me. They're going to be the people are going to get to sample what they have. There'll be some special people, VIP people
Right.
that will get to taste. And, I'm looking forward to hearing what they have to say. I'm looking forward to meeting Miss DMV, Keisha, and David, because, cigars, but I'm going to bring them on the show. But thank you guys, if you're watching, for sponsoring Teach Me How to Cheat, which will show on August 5th. Malik.
Yes.
You are currently, what's your title?
I hold so many hats. Look, you see my shirt. Sometimes I'm a writer, a director, a producer, a showrunner. I'm not a distributor, but so I do a little bit of everything. Obviously, I have my own show, Mad Flavor TV, which I've been doing for over 20 years. I can't believe it every time I say that, but I've been doing that show for over 20 years, and I am the executive producer of that show. But then again, I do a little bit of everything. I'll pick up a camera, I edit, whatever it calls for. But that show is that's my baby.
So that's who you are in 2024. That's 2024. Look at me. That's who you are in 2023. That's what you're doing. You're wearing many hats. Malik, I always like to know where people came from, because I'm always, when I see especially another African American person that's doing great things, I'm wondering to myself, did it come easy to them? Were they just born to do this and they knew this? When you were, let's say, graduating from high school,
right?
Is this where you knew you would be?
No, when I graduated from high school, in DC, Theodore Roosevelt, in Northwest, got to shout out my Rough Riders. But no, when I graduated high school, I went to Morgan State University and got a degree in computer information systems, and that's where I thought I was going to be solely. And it wasn't until a friend of mine who was working when BET was built, their headquarters was here in DC. We used to call it the Black Building. When he was working there on shows like Rap City and Video Soul, and I might be dating myself on all these shows. I got interested. I really got interested in that creative side. I guess I don't know if that's that right side of the brain or whatever. Just really was like, you know what? This is what I really wanted. This is what my passion really is, and I just learned from there and had good people who was willing to teach me and show me the ropes. And then it just it progressed, and I'm the type of person where there is no lane, I'm going to create one. So I just started to create a lane, especially in DC at that time. I mean, we're talking 20 years ago, this was solely a government town. It was not, there wasn't a big space for creativity or for television and film. And so I said, you know what? I'm gonna create something, and I'm gonna make a space for it, and that's really how I started.
So you said back then, back then it was a government town.
And still, I mean, this DC is always going to be a government town, but things are changing.
but what you decided you wanted to do, there wasn't a lot of people doing it.
Right. Right. It
So
wasn't, there were people doing it, but it wasn't a lot of opportunity, especially for those, um, who, uh, again, if you think back then, you pretty much, this is even before Atlanta blew up. There was only two places you could go, New York or LA, right?
right.
Really, if you really wanted to do it. We had BET here, but then BET moved. They moved to New York. I don't know if you remember that when they started 106 in Park and all of those shows. They actually relocated their headquarters in New York, and that was the only outlet that was there. It was, but that was in this city at that time. And once they were gone, that even made a bigger void or a bigger hole for people who was really trying to do it. It was either you had to move to those places or I don't know.
So I guess from what I'm trying to figure out is because a lot of people, when something's not going on in their area, if it's not big in their area, something may pop on their mind. They may say they want to do it, and then they have all these other people, these naysayers in their ears. They don't see it happening here. They don't know anybody doing it. So here you are, you went to college to do something, obviously, to get a good job, right?
Right.
But you're going to take a chance on all of a sudden because one side of your brain said you wanted to be creative. When you started doing that, was there ever any doubt or was it hard? Like, were people looking at you like, really? We don't have that going on around here.
Right. Well, I mean, you know what? I think that, unfortunately, for me, the doubt may have been, within certain people within my family. I remember my grandfather who worked at the Pentagon for like 40 years. It was like, again, get you a good government job, get them good benefits. You know what I mean? And that was kind of, again, that was kind of the thinking was that's what, if living in this city, that's what you do, right? You find you a good government job, get you some benefits, and retire, whatever. But for my generation, those guarantees weren't a guarantee anymore. You know what I mean? As far as I remember the first job I got, the first job, well, my very first job when I was in college, I was working at the Navy Yard, working for Department of Defense.
Okay.
And I was pretty much set that that's where I was going to stay. But I got a job offer in the private sector paying more money. And I was scared to take the job. And my manager at the Department of Defense is the one who told me, you better go get that job and you better go get that money. This was back in the .com world, where AOL and things was blowing up. Again, I'm dating myself. I'm a little seasoned. But, it was scary for me because I remember what my grandfather said, get a government job, go up the ranks and be a GS, whatever, and go up the ranks that way. And so when my boss at the time at the Navy Yard said, no, things are changing, bet on yourself and go in the private sector, I did that. So that kind of was like, that was like, okay, then, I need to even pursue this passion I have in television and film. And so there was others that were like me, who had the desire, and we actually decided to create something where when I first started Mad Flavor, it was a means to get your foot in the door. It was how we were able to get into places that we didn't think we could get into, and we showed people that we belong.
Well,
Um,
well, see, Malik, you've talked to me, so you know I have questions, and I
okay,
always like not only like to, I like to bless other people when they're watching. So you
Right.
touched on something. You said that you were scared, right?
Right. I
Because
was.
there are people watching that have dreams, Malik, that want to do things. And okay, so this man is successful. This man is steadily growing. He was scared. How? What did you say to yourself, or just was it the man at the job? What did you have to tell yourself? I mean, how did you get over that fear?
Well, that's, you know what, and it's just what you said right there. Is it's okay to be cautious and maybe even be scared, but I believe that there's a difference between being scared and having fear. Fear can be paralyzing at times where, you know, in that paralysis you don't move. So yeah, so there's certain things where, you know, I may be cautious and I may be like, I said scared, but I'm never fearful where I'm going to just have it in a state where I'm not going to move. I just, at that point, you know, you have to face your fear and overcome it. And so I guess I look at the two words as being different, because I know, you know, fear. If somebody has fear, then they can, it can stop them from, you know, taking that leap of faith. You know what I mean? So you have to face what it is that you're cautious about, and then you figure it out from there. Especially if it's your passion, you're not going to let a little bit of you know, being afraid or having fear stop you. You
So
just
when
go
you so you've gone to college and you've got a good job. When you
on.
decided to make this change, were you married?
I was not married. I was not married at that time.
I'm I'm only asking because I was wondering if if she was going to say you don't lost your mind chasing a dream when you got a good job here.
um, no, I wasn't married at the time. But you know, I've done a lot of different things as far as this industry is concerned. Some has worked, um, and some it was learning lessons that I used on the next venture, so that, you know, that I could keep moving and growing. And I guess I was fortunate that, you know, my partner at the time was open to it, and they were involved as far as, you know, helping me grow this thing together. Um, but you know, I always still kept in the forefront, you know, my marriage. So I didn't do anything to disrespect that, or you know, I always made sure home was taken care of. That way, you know, the other things that I was doing, I wasn't dipping into the mortgage or anything
That's
like that, you know,
that's
and
what
put
I'm
myself
wondering
in a
about.
bad situation.
So,
Because you still got to lead responsibly, right?
right, right, right. So I'm not sure what Laverne White is saying. He's drinking the drink. I missed it. Do you want to know what he's drinking, Laverne? What's going on?
So I recently got back from Cartagena, Colombia. So I'm drinking a rum from Colombia, a Colombian rum.
Is it good?
That's what I got going
Is it
on
good?
tonight. Huh?
Is it
It's
good?
good. It's good, but you know, I got one even better, but I didn't open that. Hold on. Let me show you the one I got.
So while he does that, I want to remind you again, this is CEO and creator of Mad Flavor TV. He will let you know how you can follow him and watch his show by the end of the video, okay? The end
Look,
of
we're
the
all
show.
off topic. So this one, let me see. Let me get in there.
Hmm.
Colombian rum XO. So this one is the one that's sitting on the bar that you know that I'm not opening just yet. Oh, the light is hitting it wrong.
Ooh, okay, I can see it.
Yeah, yeah. So that one is the one that's sitting on the bar. So I figured this one I can open, because at the resort they kept stocking the bar, and I kept taking the bottles off the bar so they could restock it. You know, I'm teaching y'all, so don't look. You don't have to follow my lead, but if if they restock the bar, with the trick is you take it off the bar, put it in your bag in your suitcase, and then they'll put another one on the bar. And by the end of your trip, you've ended up with like 4 or 5 bottles.
And
So
you got them back in the United States?
yeah, yeah. Well,
Ooh,
yeah.
okay,
Well,
okay.
they will ask you how many bottles did you bring back. It's up to you if you want to tell them.
Well, you should tell the truth. So,
You should,
Malik,
you should always tell the truth.
that's true. Well, that's for another show because
That's
I'm
for
big when I might have even said it to you. Yeah, you say you tell the truth, but sometimes I think it's best left between you and God. Just don't answer nobody.
amazing.
But that's just me.
You know.
But anyways, yes, tell the truth, people. Tell the truth.
Mm-hmm.
So
the
first show that you did, Malik, what was it?
The first show that I did was called Flavors of Taste of Comedy. So basically, my cousin married a comedian from Atlanta, and he relocated here. And again, he talked about the comedy scene and some of the people he knew, like Samore and Bruce and RNSJ, and these were all great comedians out of the Atlanta area. And he talked about again how the acting community or that community was they were a lot closer knit, and so here he found that there wasn't a lot of opportunities going on. So at this time, I had already was hanging. Well, my friend went to high school with me, but he went on to work at BET, as I mentioned. So I was already hanging at the Black Building, just kind of, I just wanted to know what was going on and some of the stuff that was going on over there with Rap City and all those shows that they were doing. But anyway, so I went to public access, a public access station. So here's another little tidbit. I went to a public access station in Arlington. At the time, it was Arlington Community Television. That's where I learned about the camera, lighting, and everything. Took some classes. And so when I first started, I was basically volunteering on other people's shows. And so I decided I wanted to do my own show. So met T.L. Fitz, who was a comedian. He worked with another gentleman. They worked at like Verizon or Comcast or something like that. And Bobby Henderson, who was a writer, very funny. And we decided to do a sketch comedy show called Flavors of Taste of Comedy.
Okay.
And this is right after In Living Color. There wasn't any more sketch comedy shows besides Saturday Night Live that was on. So In Living Color was no longer on Fox. And so we just started writing skits and filming them. And so we used some of T.L. Fitz's connections to get comedians to do drops, like, hey, this is, Bruce, or hey, this is Mike Epps, and you're watching Flavors of Taste of Comedy and stuff like that. And we would put that in. So it was almost like, I don't know if you guys remember the Tracy Ullman show when Tracy Ullman used to do skits, but then the Simpsons would come on in the middle. And so we did something like that where it was us doing skits, and then we would show music videos, and then we would have comedians do the drops. And it was, and so that was the first show that I produced that we did. And we had some funny stuff. I have to find a lot of it. I have some of it, but they were on big old tapes. I mean, we used to have cameras that you had to put on your shoulder, and they were like 35 pounds.
Oh, wow.
But that was the first show that I did.
And then what came next?
What came next was Mad Flavor, because what happened was we were showing these music videos on the show. And so back then, and radio still does it now, but music video shows, they reported their playlists. So if you remember, BET was basically a music video channel when it first started. They showed music videos all the time. Rap City, Video Soul. Um, there was another one. They had like a virtual chick. I can't remember the name of the show. Caribbean Rhythms. They
Mhm.
were all music video shows. And so what as a music video show, you had to report your playlist just like radio reports their playlist. So every time we showed a music video, we had to we report it to the record labels. Well, record labels started calling, and they was like, we want you to play this video, we want you to spin this video, we want you to spin that, and they were in return, they would do interviews
Okay.
with the artist. So again, back then, record labels would do promo tours with their artists. So this is how I met people like Ashanti and Ja Rule and all of these artists, Method Man and all of them, because they would do promo tours when they would come to DC. The labels would be like, "Hey, would you like to do this interview?" And we would do the interviews just to get the drops to put it on Flavors of Taste of Comedy. So I was sitting here with all these interviews and I didn't know what to do with them. And then finally somebody was like, you should do a music video show um like they do on BT.
Okay.
And I was like, but I don't have a studio. And they was like, well, you don't need a studio. You just do the kind of like on the street guy. You go around and do the interviews. Well, I'm always been behind the scenes. So at that point, when that happened, um, you know, again, like I was saying, I started meeting like-minded people and I started saying, hey, would you like to do these interviews? Would you like to be in front of the camera? And you can use that material to build your reel and use that to kind of, as a way that when you are going on auditions or whatever it is,
Mhm.
you can use that as a means to say where they see you doing interviews, they see you with celebrities. So and now you got your foot in the door. And so Mad Flavor became a home for people who was trying to get their foot in the door, who needed a reel, and who was passionate about it. That's what Mad Flavor became. And so out of the 20 years that I've been doing Mad Flavor, we have probably had over 60 hosts for the show, because I would tell people, this is where you start. This is not where you end. Once your foot is in the door, I'm expecting you to run through, or once we have open that door, I'm expecting you to run through it and move on to the next phase. And so I would bring people in and then I would push them out, so they can get on their next phase. And it has worked for a lot of people. And I am fortunate, 20 years later, that some of those same people are reaching back and now pulling me through doors.
So even for like Mad Flavor TV right now, so you still have this revolving door thing. You're still sending people out.
I still have this revolving door. I keep saying I'm going to stop doing it, but I have kept the door open because there are people who are still coming, and there are people who still are benefiting from us just you know showing up on some red carpet. Like we just did the Stella Awards, I guess 3 weeks ago now, out in Vegas, and again, I'm still pulling people along and saying, okay, now go meet somebody.
Well,
Um, it's funny because we did the Stella Awards, and there was I didn't so a friend of mine, Crystal Gibson, um, who does a show on All Black called Double Cross. Well, Crystal started off with Mad Flavor. She did
really?
an interview. She did an interview with Felicia Rashad, and I remember her and Felicia Rashad having a great conversation. Crystal went out to L.A. Now she's doing her own show on Double Cross, right? she did a premiere, and Mad Flavor was on the red carpet at the premiere. Her casting director was there. I go to the Stella Awards. Who do I see walking down the red carpet? Her casting director, and the person that did the interview for Double Cross here in DC. They did it over at the Bowie Arts Center. I told her, I said, that's the casting director from Double Cross that you met 6 months ago. And I said, you need to talk to her again and remind her of who you are and that you have interviewed her. And she was like, hey, she told the young lady, Jasmine, another Jasmine, but she told her, send me an email with your headshot, and if you're in LA, we got you. That's the door. That is the door. That's what Mad Flavor does.
Well, let me tell you, CEO and creator of Mad Flavor TV. If I see you in DC at the red light, I'm going to put the car in park. I'm coming to your driver's window and say, do you remember me? I interviewed you.
No, I'm not. You wouldn't even have to do that, because if you're in DC, I'm expecting you to give me a call and say, where are we going? Where's happy hour? Or where's lunch or dinner? Yeah. No, you better call me if you in my city now. Don't come up to my window like a windshield wiper.
We're doing all of this talking, and it's good conversation, but a lot of times just talking doesn't really get across to people. You can be sitting there bragging about this, talking about this. You know how folks can be. So I pulled up a video, one of the videos you had sent me, and I'd like to show our watchers, our viewers. Okay.
Okay.
So did I pull the right one? Did I see Tommy?
That's my promo that I use. I'm not sure which one.
Let me see. I saw Tommy, and I said I'm gonna ask him how he know Tommy. No,
from Power.
Yeah, I saw Tommy. That must have been on the other one. I couldn't find it. There's Tommy. So I see you had some big stars. You've interviewed some big stars. Your people have interviewed some big stars. And Malik, at one time when I was looking up your show and stuff, and I'm like, he's talking to that. They're talking to that person. They're talking to that person. And what's awesome about it is because a lot of times people will act like they're doing things, but I saw the smiles. I saw the people smiling at whoever it was. And, you have some outstanding people going out there speaking up for Mad Flavor TV. So you are behind the camera. You're directing. Do you act?
I try not to be in front of the camera.
You try not to be in front of the camera. Okay.
Excuse me. I try not to be in front of the camera. If I am in front of the camera, most of the time I'm in front. I get in front of the camera now that after COVID, a lot of the interviews have gone virtual. Like we are right now, and so I have the flexibility to be able to do a lot of the virtual stuff. So most of I won't say most. If I'm in front of the camera, most of the time it's because it's a virtual interview. And again, one of the things that that we have been very fortunate with doing Mad Flavor is building great relationships. And so, it's all about building good relationships with my people who host the show, but also with the, the publicists, those people who are promoting a brand or a show or whatever it may be. So I'm all about building those relationships, and that's because I've learned early on. I always tell people my 50 cent story. So when 50 Cent first came out, uh, his first single that dropped was called Wangsta.
Okay.
And I think everybody remembers. Maybe not everybody remembers Wangsta. They might just think he started with Power, but but so when Wangsta came out, that was the year that the NBA All-Star Weekend was here in DC. Um, and so to tell you how long ago that was, I think it was called the MCI Center back then. So, um, but he was at a place. He was at a place. I don't know if the place was called the Tunnel back then. I think it was. But so one of the indie reps called me and was like, "Hey, we got a new artist. Would you like to interview him?"
Mm-hmm.
And it was supposed to be at the Tunnel, and this was NBA All-Star Weekend. There was a whole lot going on, right? There was a whole lot going on, and there was a whole lot of people looking for opportunities and whatever. And the show wasn't supposed to start till like 2 in the morning. It might have been like 1 or 2 in the morning. And I was like, this artist, this is probably a new one hit wonder artist. It's 2 in the morning. I don't feel like going down there and dealing with all these people. It's NBA All-Star Weekend. And so I was like, at first I was like, okay. But then when their management called and was like, we'll be here at this time or whatever, I didn't show up. I was like, I'm not trying to do it. The next week, Wangsta came out on the radio. It was 50 Cent. I have never since then had a second opportunity to interview 50 Cent. I don't know, it's because he remembers. He might be the one that remember Mad Flavor. I heard of that show, but that was a early on lesson where I was like, and I tell people all the time, in this business, patience. You have to exercise good patience. Stuff is last minute, like that was last minute, and because I know that's the nature of this business, like
Malik.
it's I know you have to have patience. You have to you have to be humble. And what I tell people is, we're not doing this for them. We're doing this for us because again, it's about opening that door. And I have worked with people who you just never know where they're going to be, where their walk of life is going to end. And I had a guy in college tell me this, and this is one of the things that I have carried with me. And he was my RA, if you remember, like residence assistants.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
He
They
was
still
like,
have those. We ain't that old.
he was like, you got to be careful of the feet that you step on today because it could be attached to the ass you need to kiss tomorrow.
Say it one more time.
Some people may be like, I ain't never kissing nobody's ass, but you don't get nowhere in this business by yourself.
So say that statement. Say that statement one more
Be
time.
careful of the feet that you step on today because it could be attached to the ass you need to kiss tomorrow.
Ooh.
There
And-
are people who, there are people. I'm thankful that there are people who have worked with Mad Flavor that are now producers, executive producers. There's a young lady, I remember when she told me she was working for WPGC, I remember when she told me I'm about to leave WPGC and go to LA. And she was thinking she was going to go and work for an affiliate there. And she was asking my advice. And again, when they come through the door, I push them out. I say, you need to go. She is now a producer for All the Queen's Men. That's on BET Plus. Love her.
Really?
I have another friend, Stefan Latour. That's my man. He was right here. He was doing interviews. As a matter of fact, oh, I need to send him that interview he just asked me about. But he did an interview with Deborah Cox back in the day. He has now worked for shows like Insecure. He went out to LA. He worked for shows like Insecure. He worked for a lot of stuff as an editor and as a QC. And I just did a project that's coming out on BET Her called For What It's Worth. And they hired me to do camera. And they hired me because Stefan recommended me and another gentleman recommended me. And they was like, your name came up twice. And when we heard your name twice, we knew we was going to hire you.
So I
And
need to sign up.
this is what I've always wanted Mad Flavor to do, was to, when we decided to do this 20 years ago, was to see people where they are now. There's another gentleman, Anthony Anderson, who's won Emmys doing Anacostia, and he said to me, there was a moment when I was ready to quit. And he said, you can't quit because I wouldn't be where I am if you quit it. And so I appreciate those people, and that's the wealth that's a friend of mine has a company called Wealthy and Blessed, and that's where I'm blessed, and that is the wealth, not necessarily in money, but the wealth in knowing what this show has done for so many. So
Sounds like to me, I need to sign up for Mad Flavor Academy. Where do I get my application? No,
hey, come on.
Malik, Miss Tawana Terrell, let me tell you something. I've never met her, but she's on my list of people I want to meet. I don't know how
Tawana Terrell, you need Tawana. Yes.
I don't know how we became Facebook friends, but I do know this. I think I was looking for maybe when I was dreaming of creating a film, I was looking for places, right? Where do you create films? But she didn't know me. She immediately messaged me back. I sent her another message because I'm like you, Malik. I'm a talker. Okay, you're like that. Yeah. Anyways,
I'm a talker.
So it's awesome. It's just awesome, like, because I'm gonna meet her one day, but I see what she's doing, and now she's on here saying good things about you. Malik did a red carpet for one of my movies that just came out, Once Upon a Time in the District, on All Black.
Yeah, All Black streaming platform. Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, I met Tawana once. No, I think it's more than once. She did that film, but she also did Gaslight. Her and Harold Jackson. Really admire their work. She has another film, The Agnostic, that's coming out. When we premiered Feathers, which is a film that I worked on, we showed the trailer for The Agnostic, which I'm sure is coming out soon. And so, Ms. Terrell has been doing great things and producing and stuff like that. So if you have an opportunity, and she has a studio, as well.
She told me.
Yeah. So if you have an opportunity to meet her, and see, this is why you have many, many reasons to come to DC, not just to knock on my window. Many, many reasons to come to DC. Now, I would say if you have to knock on her window, definitely.
Well, I shared she has a film coming out now. Please forgive me for not remembering the name. I shared it yesterday because I saw it. It's hilarious.
Oh, sweet. It's a series. A Sweet Deal. Yeah.
It's hilarious.
Yeah.
So tell us now, what should we be looking out for, Malik?
Well, so really what I have been focusing on is, you know, I have a young guy, London Brown, who has really been, I, he's really been interested in television and film, and so my hope is that he will kind of take over Mad Flavor and take it as his own, and kind of out even to down to editing. So he has done some events and red carpets, and so I'm really happy about that. It's definitely at some point, I would love to see Mad Flavor live, even if it's not necessarily living with me per se. It's always going to live with me, but what I mean, at some point, to have a team that's really taking it and making it their own, because I will admit, I don't know who some of these young artists are. You know what I mean? And so, we definitely need to evolve, and as as the times change, we need to evolve in that way. And so I don't want it to just, I want some fresh new ideas. I want people to come in, and then we keep it going, and hopefully keep opening up doors. But for me personally, I've been working more in the film space, and so like I said, I've worked on a lot of projects for others. I've worked on projects for BET Her, with some of their mental health and breast cancer initiatives. I had the opportunity to work with Megamind with that. Just had an opportunity to work, like I said, on a film, For What It's Worth, that's coming out August 26th on BET Her. So remember that, August 26th. Y'all can see my camera work. Y'all can see my camera work. And then I worked on a Christmas movie called The Perfect Christmas by Anthony Hackett. I did camera for that, which is actually coming out in theaters nationally, Regal theaters, sometime in December for Christmas. So we would love for anybody who see this movie come out in a Regal theater to go see it, because as Anthony Hackett has said, 8% of movies that come out in national theaters are independent, and out of that 8%, only like 1% are Black. So really? It's a huge deal to be be nationally in theaters, Regal theaters. So it's called The Perfect Christmas. And then Feathers, which is a faith-based movie that I directed and edited, and you see the shirt. I did a little writing. I co-directed with Nikki Frazier from Collective Media. I produced. So that movie is out. We are looking for a home. So stay tuned for that. And I am writing. A friend of mine, Corey Grant, from New Breed Entertainment, and he has a lot of films that he's done. He told me that right now they are hungry for content, and this is the time to write, because they are hungry for content. This is the time to write. This is the time to shoot. And so I'm writing, I'm shooting, I'm partnering with people such as Stacey to get stuff that she has written, shot, and produced, and others. So that is what I'm doing. But like I said, I'm always going to keep the doors of Mad Flavor open, so that once we get all these things written, we can start running through these doors ourselves.
Maryland's growing, DC's growing in the film industry. Stacey gonna let them know we got some things going down in Virginia. No, look. So Kendria Roan Williams is a new film producer. I don't know if you know her, Malik.
I haven't met her. She said she did background, so I probably haven't met her, but she knows that on the set of The Perfect Christmas, we was moving.
Yeah, Kendria is a actress,
okay,
film writer, author. You know, look, Kendria gonna be like, there goes Stacey trying to promote me again. She's done a lot of things in the film industry. You know, awesome individual, and I see that she knows about The Perfect Christmas also. Malik, I want to ask you a question. I saw something earlier. I don't keep up with all of the award shows, but Lover was watching something, and they were talking about some music now needs to be classified as adult only, that it should be separated from, I guess, the regular music scene.
Okay.
Do you think, just like in movies, we've got G, PG, R, and X, do you think that their music has changed so much that it needs to be separated?
Then it needs to have its own rating?
Uh-huh.
Wow. I sound like an old person. I do. I do when so you know, it once upon a time, even though they would try to blur out or whatever a lyric or curse word. I mean, we weren't stupid. We knew what they were saying. But when the subject matter comes to Pound Town or whatever that song is,
right?
Pound Town, and it comes to when it gets to that,
right?
I do think that's a bit much.
Okay.
I think that's a bit much.
And I don't think it has.
And it's not, you know, I mean, we're not even talking about something that's sexy. We're not even talking about BDSM. We talking about borderline. The word is escaping me right now, but you know, we've gone beyond just BDSM when we talking about you want somebody to pound you out to the point where they ripping you open.
Right.
I don't even know what that term is. It's on the tip of my tongue.
I think
what that is. Somebody, if you know what I'm talking about, put it in the chat.
Right.
But when we get to that point, when you want your insides rip open, I mean, well, I just can't subscribe to that being on the radio.
Well, you know, when you gotta just let everybody know what color it is in the inside and what color it is on the outside, is a little bit too much information for me. But you know, I'm like, you create what you want to create. I create what I want to create. But at the same time, know where to put it at. Right. Know who to show it to. We've got too many kids that have access to social media. Too many young sisters that are growing up. And maybe I'm too old-fashioned. But it's hard now, I guess, for parents they're fighting against social media. So as African-American women, and hey, I don't know her. I'm only saying. Right. I think certain things should be for adults. Little girls should not be able to ride in the car with their parents and accidentally that song comes on. Right. I mean, where it becomes dangerous is what happened to the girl Sukiana, where, you know, she is she's portraying something through her music. And then when she's going on these interviews or whatever, you know, men and of course these men need to be more mature, more responsible. So it's definitely not on her, but you know, unfortunately, she has been put in a couple situations where these men are buying into the rhetoric that she's rapping about and acting a fool and you know, being touchy-feely or whatever. And you know, that, I mean, that was something that just recently happened with her. And so you know, it's unfortunate, but some people misinterpret what they hear with what they see, and they buy into the fantasy or whatever it is you selling. And if that's and of course, again, no fault of her own,
but you know, I'm one who just like, I would not want my daughter to put herself or to be put in that situation because of what she's saying, and people are thinking that's who she is. I guess
Exactly.
that's the point.
Exactly.
You
Not
know,
even for the ratings.
yeah,
You know.
you know, they're thinking that's who she is based off of what she's saying, and you know, shame on them. But you know, it's that thin line, that tightrope, man. That
Right.
I
I
don't know.
know.
I don't
I've been tiptoeing on a line myself, so I get
know.
it.
But
So
again, you know, you have a, like you said, what you do has a place, and it's put in the appropriate place where hopefully young people aren't being exposed to it, or what have you. But you know, we've had this conversation since when I was young, when it was gangster rap.
right,
This
right.
conversation has always been the same. And at the end of the day, you know, I mean, gangster rap didn't make me go out there and shoot people up. Now, you know, some rap like a, you know, like a, uh, um, um, some rappers or whatever, they were speaking on a conscious tip. You know what I'm saying? It made me aware of certain things, and you know, and music made me aware of what was going on in certain areas. I mean, I'm on the
Right.
East Coast. I didn't know this was what was going on the West Coast. So those things made me aware. But I think that I was able to channel my frustration differently than some people. You know, some people, they'll see this and they might want to act a certain way. For me, I was like, you know what? What I'm seeing is I'm gonna be able to use this and educate, you know what I'm saying, my peers or my kids, because but I was growing up in a house where my uncle educated us. You know, he let us know as a black man, this is what it is,
That's
and this is
right.
what you need to watch out for. So if you have parents that are doing that, then but you know, kids are raising kids. They don't know themselves.
That's right.
They
Maybe
can't
you need
teach
to
what they don't
maybe,
know.
maybe you need to write about that. No.
Hey.
It's been great, Malik. It's
This has been great.
it's been great. Malik, is there anything that I did not ask that needs to be told?
Create. Anyone that is watching this live, create. This is the opportunity. This is the time. I think that things will change. I know that we are, um, you know, I know that we're in a strike, writer strike, and SAG has joined them. I think things will change. You know, anytime we put our stamp on it, they find a way to switch something up.
Ooh, don't they?
And so if you have been thinking about writing, write. If you have been thinking about producing your own stuff, get a team and produce it. Get it on a platform. They're hungry, and to be honest, people are making money. It's a new hustle. And if you're passionate for it, create, and that's why I continue to create. You
Okay.
know,
Does anyone, I didn't ask him if this was okay, but you see Malik's talk, so let's see. Does anyone have a question for Malik? I know somebody saying Stacey enjoying that conversation. She like to talk, he like to talk. Does anyone have a question before I let him go? I don't see anyone. Maybe people are shy. Maybe I asked good questions. I don't know.
they can
Um,
hit, they can hit me in my DM on my email. It goes down in the DM. It's
it
okay.
goes down in the
That's
D.
right.
Oh goodness. Excuse me. So if they want to contact you, 323-989-3951,
Yeah.
right?
I'll
And
now I'm gonna tell you I'm gonna tell you that's a Google number. So if I don't answer right away,
right.
but normally I do. I know if somebody's calling me on that number, it's about business. So
And that's your Gmail account. So if someone wants to speak to you about business, they can email you also.
they can email me also.
Are you good at replying to emails, Malik?
I am one of the ones that still reply to emails. I don't know what it is that people don't reply to emails no more, but I do.
Okay. Okay. So let's look. I want to give them a sample for those that come on late. I want to give them a sample of what you got going on.
Okay.
And then when we come back, you let us know exactly how they can follow you and watch your show. Okay.
All right. Sounds good.
Let's see. We did that one. Let's see. Malik, who interviewed Chad?
That was the first Black Panther in LA, and so I have a couple people in LA that handles most of the stuff there. Melissa Lopez, Ashley Gales, and then also Alana Morgan. They typically do everything in LA, and then I have a couple people in Atlanta that if I don't go to Atlanta, they do Atlanta stuff. Andrea Rowley does a lot of the Atlanta stuff, and I have a camera guy down there, Trayvon, King Hawk Films. I think it's King Hawk Films.
Okay.
That does a lot of stuff in Atlanta. So we there now. I don't let too much pass me by if I can help it.
Okay. So, and people, you do so much, Malik. Okay. You do so much. You've done so much. You do so much. And it sounds like you're about to do a lot more. So let's get something straight. Why would I contact you? Why would I email you? What is it that you can do for me?
Well, you know what? So again, I have a production company, Motion Pixels Media. I'm relaunching my company, Sixnetics, again. So from a production standpoint, Motion Pixels Media, Sixnetics, we are full production. We do everything from lighting, sound, camera, anything you need. So if you need a commercial, if you need a wedding or whatever it is, we can do it. And we're very upfront and honest and very transparent. So some people was like, oh, I don't know if I can afford you. Well, it's a conversation. Again, we don't try to hit people over the head, but if it's something we can't do, then we'll let you know. But for the most part, we're a full production company. We do television, film, events. We're able to do large scale events. If you're doing a concert and you need a multi-camera shoot, we can do that as well. So we have a lot of capabilities. So, if you have someone who's interested in hosting and stuff like that, you can hit me up for that too. I just tell people that, they learn. I'm willing to go through the growing pains with people and have them learn. A lot of people think it's easy to get on a red carpet and do interviews. Then they get on a red carpet and I was like, oh, this is a lot harder than I thought. Yeah, I was like, yeah, it is a lot harder. It is a lot harder than it looks like. They make it look easy.
I wouldn't be able to do that job because I'd laugh too much.
Yeah.
So as you can see, that's why I need my own show so I can do what I want to do.
Right. But excuse me. So yeah, it's I'll go through the growing pains, but I tell people all the time that a lot of people think it's about interviewing the celebrities, and I tell them all the time, no, it's really about when we're on that red carpet. You just got to imagine that there are other media outlets shoulder to shoulder with you. It's about meeting them, or meeting the publicists, or meeting the management, meeting the decision makers. interviewing the celebrity is nice, but meeting the decision makers and meeting your peers on the red carpet is what it's all about, because we're standing there shoulder to shoulder with Access Hollywood, with Fox Soul. We're standing shoulder to shoulder with them. And again, Mad Flavor is not the end. You need to meet Access Hollywood. You need to meet CNN. You need to meet them, because if that's where you're trying to go, by you knowing who the cameraman is, you know what I'm saying? And everybody on there, everybody on there got something else that they're working on. So if you know who those people are, that's the relationship building that I talked about. So, and I'm always open to meeting new people, and building relationships. So call me. I'm accessible. I'm never going to get to a point where I'm not accessible.
And I'm going to say this last thing when you said just what you said. I remember our first conversation. I said that there were no festivals around here that I thought I could enter into, and you brought up a festival in Florida. And I said, well, I couldn't have gone there because I wouldn't have had anything ready. And you said to me, it's not about the film, it's about who you would meet there.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the ABFF. Yeah, it's not about it's about who you would meet there.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So how do we follow you on Facebook, IG? What you on?
I'm on IG at Mad Flavor TV. On Facebook, Mad Flavor TV. Twitter, Mad Flavor TV. MADFLAVOR TV. So not phonetically, no, not phonetic. But yeah, MADFLAVOR TV.
MADFLAVOR
TV.
Oh,
Mad Flavor TV.
Look at me. I'm so busy trying to listen to you and write. Okay. So I just put it in the comments. Thank you, Willa Pride, for saying what did you say? You love what I'm doing. I'm loving it too, sweetheart.
And we do love what you're doing.
Malik, thank you once again.
Thank you.
I know, hey, you know what? I guess I'm too comfortable with you. And I tell people this when I get too comfortable. Don't you call somebody and say I talk too much, because you talk just as much as me on this show.
Oh no, I look, I can be long-winded when I'm passionate about something. I can be long-winded. I can be an introvert too now, but when it's something I'm passionate about, I can talk all day.
Thank you very much.
They probably in other spaces or whatever, they probably like, he don't never say nothing, and I'm like, because I'm just not that interested in
it. Take care of yourself, and hope to see you soon and have a drink with you. All right.
Absolutely. Cheers.
Okay. Bye, Malik.
Bye.
Thank you for watching, everybody. Thank you to the people that normally support me, and thank you for the new people that came on. If you would like to check out some more of my interesting interviews, head over to the Stacey Thomas Unrestricted Unlimited Talk Show on YouTube. Like, share, subscribe, and tell a friend about it. Oh, and if you didn't know, so you know, I'm author, talk show host, ALS advocate, speaker. I'm a new film producer. August 5th, Richmond, Virginia. Teach me how to cheat, baby. Teach me how to cheat. Anyways, follow me. Listen, we still got, I think I have 9 tickets left. Hit me up. And in the meantime, please follow my guest. Check out what he's doing. Find out. He told you how you can watch his show, okay? And I'm going to end it. And remember, don't stress too much about yesterday or worry too much about tomorrow, because if you do, you just might miss living today. Everybody have a great night.